evening and welcome to this edition of News Leader on 6. I'm Jim Fuller. In tonight's news, 3 local attorneys advance in their attempt to fill retired Circuit Judge Craig Johnson's position. We'll have that story and more on tonight's News Leader on 6.
Now open in Tullahoma, Parkview Senior Living, an affordable, luxurious retirement community that active seniors love to call home. We encourage a healthy, independent lifestyle with few restrictions. Abundant amenities mean you live burden-free in a beautiful, safe home with other like-minded seniors. Still enjoy friends and family, along with your supplemental healthcare needs. See for yourself how wonderful retirement can be. Tour Parkview Senior Living today.
Welcome back. Local attorneys Bobby Carter, Will Lockhart, and Ed North have been selected as the finalists for Circuit Court Judge following a day-long hearing last Friday. It's now up to Governor Bill Lee to choose which of the 3 will get the appointment. The Trial Court Vacancy Commission held the extended public hearing and interview session at the Coffee County Administrative Plaza on Friday, May the 14th, to choose 3 candidates to initiate the process of filling the vacancy for a Circuit Court Judge in the 14th Judicial District, which includes Coffee County. The opening was created by the retirement of Judge Craig Johnson, whose retirement went into effect on May the 12th. Johnson announced his retirement in February after serving for 24 years on the bench. He said he plans on returning to private practice. He was last re-elected in 2014, meaning whoever is appointed to the bench will be up for election during the 2022 election cycle. Judges serve 8-year terms in Tennessee. One of the questions asked the candidates was why they are the best choice to replace Judge Johnson. Some of the responses included Bobby Carter, who said given his own life experience with substance abuse, he has paid his dues and it has humanized him to the point that he can relate to others and help them. Jason Husky said along with his experience, his patience, respect, and being a people person are qualities that would make him a good judge. Margaret Kilgore stated, given her time as a public defender and working in recovery court, she would be a fair judge and empathize with people in the court system as human beings. William Lockhart said while he cannot control his age, he has the experience which makes up for his youth. Edward Norris said his experiences in a variety of fields of law make him a well-balanced candidate if selected. Felicia Walkup stated she has the experience to sit on the bench and wants to be a matter-of-fact judge. After the interviews were finished, the 9 members of the commission immediately cast their first votes for the 3 names they would submit for recommendation to Governor Bill Lee. As we mentioned previously, the Trial Court Vacancy Commission selected Carter, Lockhart, and North as their recommendations for Lee's consideration to be the next Circuit Court Judge in the district. The Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce held its annual Women Impacting the Community celebration on Tuesday, and our own Peggy Burton won the coveted Lifetime Achievement Award. Let's watch this video of her acceptance speech.
You might guess I have not had time to prepare a speech. I must say I'm quite honored to be among such prestigious people to accept this award, and I certainly did not expect it, and thank you so much. Coming to Tullahoma, I wasn't sure I was going to love it here because I went to high school in Manchester, and we had a big war going on all the time. But Tullahoma finally accepted me as an okay person, I guess, and I've loved being in this town, and I feel like that the performing arts is my heart, as Ann's and many others that are here, and I think it has validated this community as a wonderful place to bring your family and some of these great kids that have grown up and come back to Tullahoma to make a difference. That's what makes this community. And I'm proud to sort of represent South Jackson Civic Center because we have a lot of people here that have supported and helped us. Standing over here, Mr. Jim Wood is always there with a check. Thank you. And Lord knows we need it. Anyway, I am honored, and thank you very much.
And our congratulations to Peggy. She's a well-deserving candidate for that job. All right, well, we'll have more video from that event in next week's news. We'll be right back after these messages.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
Welcome back. Bonnaroo organizers have announced more ticket options are available for those wanting to go to the Concert on the Farm concert series. There is now a $35 general admission long ticket along with the tickets for a pod group of 4 for $400. Tickets for the $35 option went on sale at noon on May 18th at BonnarooFarm.com. Tickets for the 4-person pods are still available for most shows. The pods are closer to the stage and hold 5,000 socially distanced fans, while the lawn tickets will be behind the more expensive pods. The number of general admission tickets being sold has not yet been announced. Let's watch now as the THS singers perform I'll Be There this past Friday night at the Tullahoma High School graduation ceremonies.
You and I must make a pact. We must bring salvation back. Where there is love, I'll be there.
Also, the class of 2021 salutatorian Abigail West spoke to her graduating classmates.
Good evening. My name is Abigail West, and I am the salutatorian of the class of 2021. To all of the family, faculty members, and others here tonight, thank you for being here to support our graduates. To my fellow classmates, congratulations on making it here tonight. These past 4 years have presented many obstacles, but we have persevered through all of them. Perseverance is something that is not always noticed as much as it should be. Every day, we are faced with small obstacles that can make our lives more difficult. But in no time at all, these little things can pile up until we are faced with a million problems all at once. While outsiders may not be able to see this, we as individuals know that sometimes we are trying our best just to get through the day. It can be hard to find joy in the face of our problems, but we must strive not to let them get the best of us. We should strive to find the small victories and joys in our everyday life rather than focusing on the seemingly insurmountable task that is life ahead of us. If we can succeed in this, we can become the authors of our own stories. Until now, the next chapter of our lives had always been written, and the path was always set out before us. From people there to help you pick out your classes to the social obligations that high school presents, someone has always been there to tell us what we should be doing. As we begin our adult lives, we are now making these decisions for ourselves, and I encourage all of us to push through the obstacles life will constantly present. As Maya Angelou once said, there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you. We must write our own stories instead of merely having them laid out for us. If we can find joy in the small things in life, we can push through anything thrown our way. Class of 2021, we have achieved so much in the face of challenges throughout high school. Let us persevere and accomplish so much more in this next chapter of our lives. Thank you.
More news is coming up in just a moment.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Welcome back. 3 Tullahoma High School students tied for the 2021 class valedictorian. This is a highly unusual occurrence. Let's watch as each of those students speak to their classmates.
This year, Tullahoma High School had an unusual event. We have 3 valedictorians. I would ask that Hannah Gorman, Catherine Hills, and Mr. Shiv Patel please come forward.
Good evening and welcome, seniors, teachers, families and friends, staff, and other community members. My name is Hannah Gorman, and I am one of the valedictorians of the class of 2021. Class of 2021, as graduating seniors about to receive diplomas, I think we can all agree on one thing. We have taken a lot of steps to get here. From the very moment we took the steps away from our parents into kindergarten, all the way to the day we stepped into the door of the infamous freshman wing, also known as the dungeon. We stepped in our first cars, stepped in our first jobs, and even stepped in our first lifelong friendships. However, for the end of our junior year, our steps were put on pause for the most unexpected and isolated season ever. We stopped stepping into schools, and instead, we stepped out of bed to join a Zoom meeting of black squares. We realized that we took our steps for granted and never knew how much it meant just to be able to step into class. For surviving the craziest end of year ever, we should feel proud of ourselves. We have definitely tripped along the way, but we always managed to gain our balance again. A few late assignments and failed quizzes later, we are right on track. We have made it. Now moving forward, if we see someone has fallen down, we should help them get back on their feet again. Today, we have accomplished the goal we have been stepping towards since kindergarten. And today, we are going to step out of this stadium to step into the next chapter of our life. The future is ours to change. In conclusion, I want to quote Dan Poynter. Each step you take reveals a new horizon. You have taken the first step today. Now I challenge you to take another. Thank you.
Leadership. This is one of the 3 core values Tullahoma High School was founded upon. Our legacies will not be remembered by our ACT scores, or Instagram followers, or how many views we get on our Snapchat stories, but how we made other people feel and how we've led. A good leader acknowledges the people who have come before them and contributed to their greatness. So remember to thank those who have led you here to these seats on graduation day. A great leader is able to learn from others' experiences. He or she can grow from recognizing others' mistakes and the choices they should have made. We've spent the last 12 years learning other people's histories, reading biographies, studying past theorems, and researching previous discoveries. As freshmen, we looked to others for guidance. We met upperclassmen, coaches, and teachers that taught us the definition of leadership. Now, as graduating seniors, we become those leaders. We are leaders to our younger teammates at practice. We are leaders in education, now helping proofread others' writings instead of asking for help from our English teachers. Possibly, you're a leader in ROTC or band. We've spent the last 12 years learning other people's histories. Now it's time to harness those lessons and create our own histories as leaders. As we conclude our high school journey and begin our lives as adults, there are more opportunities now for us to become those people we looked up to and learned from. We are the leaders of tomorrow. As the roles reverse and perspectives change, I hope each of you can find places to be a leader and people you can trust to follow. Congrats, class of 2021. We did it.
Class of 2021. Many of you know me, but for those who do not, my name is Sheev Patel, one of your valedictorians. We finally made it. In a matter of moments, each of us will walk across the stage, hearing the joy of the crowd filled with our loved ones. As a son to the family of first-generation immigrants, I was introduced to hard work and perseverance at a young age. I was taught to have confidence in my weaknesses and to be humble with my strengths. Within the last 4 years, I have witnessed immeasurable unity among us. From the blood, sweat, and tears to the sacrifices and triumphs, we grew as young adults ready to challenge the world. Throughout our journey, there will be those who doubt us, those who fear our dedication and tenacity to be great. So before we move on to what we are all here for, I present to you all a quote from arguably the greatest philosophical poet of our generation. I got these haters, like when will he stop? Maybe a minute after never, so set your clocks, Lil Wayne. Finally, I would like to say thank you to my family for providing me with all of the resources I needed to create success for myself. To all of my teachers and coaches, thank you for teaching me that there will always be a shining light no matter the depth of the tunnel. And finally, thank you, Tullahoma. This town, though small, has a big heart, and it will always hold a special place in mine.
And everyone at P-Head Productions wishes all of the graduates a wonderful future, and we can't wait to see what they accomplish. We'll be right back in just a moment after these commercial messages.
I can think of this wonderful little woman that I had. She said, I can't talk. There's nothing there. And she said, I want my voice back. After the first session, she was loud. I'll never forget this. She said, there's a voice in me still. Whether it's Parkinson's or a stroke or whatever, they are not at the bottom, but they can always get better.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. On Tuesday night, the Tullahoma School Board brought up the final vote for Tullahoma's virtual academy.
By rule, we have to apply to the state for a school number. We have done the application. You have seen the application. It was uploaded for you to review. So the administration recommends the school board approve the district moving forward with the virtual school application so that we can have a virtual school, Tullahoma Virtual Academy, for students who are enrolled in a significant number of virtual courses. Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Sid Hill.
So moved. Motion by Sid Hill. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jessica Fogarty. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion to approve TVA, please raise your hand. Opposed? Mrs. Vaughn. Excellent. Motion passes. Thank you so much.
John Gray recently spoke with Director of Tullahoma City Schools, Dr. Katrine Stevens, about specifics of the plan, and we will bring that to you in next week's news. And we now bring you the final segment of our three-part series about river safety, courtesy of the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Hey guys, Ranger Jesse Jewell here at Henry Horton State Park. So today we're down here at the Duck River, and I wanted to talk to y'all a minute about river safety and how you can, on your next trip, be safer and have more fun with your family and friends. So hang around for that. All right, like I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about river safety. So one thing I do whenever I go to the river is I kind of follow a 5-tip process. These by no means are end-all be-all, and you should research it for yourself as well and gain more knowledge as you go along. But these will be 5 tips that can kind of help you as you go to the river next time. The 5th and final tip we're going to talk about today is knowing your limits. So no matter what kind of water sport you're going to participate in on the river, whether it's paddleboarding, whitewater rafting, kayaking, flatwater kayaking, knowing your limits as a person is going to keep you safe next time you go on a trip. So if you have no experience in whitewater, look at going with a company or going with somebody who can kind of teach you some of the skills and things that you need so that you can develop over time and have a better experience, and if that is something that you want to pursue. But kind of looking at your own skill level and what you're looking to do and not getting it over your head is going to keep you safe and everybody else around you safe. Now that we've talked about the 5 tips, I want to show you a couple of things to be aware of next time you're on the water, things to look out for, and just kind of keep in the back of your head so that you can kind of pick out some things and stay safer when actually on the water. Today's a great example of that. The water's a little high, we've had a lot of rain, so we'll be able to look at a couple of these hazards, if you will, and talk about them and explain what you can do to avoid them. So the first hazard we're going to talk about is strainers. A lot of times when you're on the river, you'll see trees that have fallen into the water. That's going to be your #1 strainer that we'll see. A lot of times it can be man-made too. What happens is water will flow around, over, under these structures, such as a tree behind me, if you can see in the distance. It's fallen off the bank, and what's happening is the current is pushing over it. Well, if your boat or your body, if you're swimming, gets pushed up against that, all the force of the water that's pushing against there will not allow you to get off of it. So unless somebody's there with you and has either a throw rope or some sort of extrication devices, it's going to be very hard to get you off of that. So looking at those hazards and knowing that they're there and trying to stay away from them as you're navigating the water will help just protect you and your group from those hazards. The next hazard we're going to talk about is undercut rocks, or places where water has eroded some of the rock underneath the exposed rock and you can't really see it. So what I have behind me is an example. These aren't covered up, so they don't pose a hazard right now. But if you happen to be on the Duck River when the water's a little bit higher, some of these little pockets can become into play. So what an undercut rock is, a lot of the times it's where water has eroded underneath the rocks, or like you see behind me where rocks have kind of stacked up and they create little pockets underneath them that a lot of times water can flow through, but debris, man-made stuff, trash, and kayaks can get stuck in them. So as you're paddling along, you may not see these hazards, but they're underneath the surface. These aren't things to be afraid of, they're things to be aware of. These are all manageable risk when kayaking or playing on the water, just being aware where these are. A lot of times you'll see people, we see it all the time out here, they'll come jump off the bluffs and they don't really realize that there is a lot of current still pushing through that area, and you can get pulled underneath those shelves, and in itself may not be dangerous, but when you get hung up in that debris and everything that comes with it, it can pose a dangerous situation. So another hazard to be aware of when on the river. The final hazard we're going to talk about is going to be low-head dams. These are probably some of the most underrated hazards that we have on a lot of our waterways here in Tennessee, but a lot of times they pose the most danger. So if you look behind me, the water's up a little bit here on the Duck River. We're down at Milltown Dam, And as you can see, as the water goes over it, what happens is it creates what's called a hydraulic at the bottom of the falls. If you see, the water's kind of recirculating on itself, kind of like if you watch the washing machine go back and forth. And what happens is, if you're kayaking along this section or even swimming above the dam, if you happen to end up over it, a lot of times that recirculation will keep your body and your boat inside there and won't let you out, and can potentially turn into a drowning situation. So being aware of where these are, we're about 6 miles south of the park right now. A lot of times we'll have people put on at the park and they don't really know what's down below. They just kind of start going, and we have to inform them that hazards like this are along the way. So definitely looking at maps and knowing your way before you go can mitigate some of these potential risk factors. So definitely a big hazard to look out for, and just be aware of them as you're going down the river next time.
Stay with us. Your weather forecast is coming up next.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1962 at 92 degrees. The record low was in 2002 at 37 degrees. Average high on this day is 78, and the average low is 57. Mostly clear weather in the forecast for tonight with a low of 59. Sunny weather expected on Friday with a high of 85 and a low of 59, and mostly sunny weather in store for the weekend starting on Saturday with a high of 86 and a low of 61. And that's our News Leader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for News Leader on 6. You have a good evening.